Well, good afternoon to all my curious people here on the Zoom. First and foremost, thank you, Michael, for allowing me to speak today. And it's unfortunate that we are on Zoom, but it's great information here that you can learn from. I hope one day soon that we'll be able to meet in person. In the meantime, please stay safe and healthy. All right, with that being said, for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm an account executive for Chicago Title, for the Santa Clara County, and San Benito counties. We have another rep there, but I can help you with any questions you may have. My background, I started out as a certified appraiser. I'm still licensed. I did 10 years of lending and now 7 years. I just turned 7 years with title and escrow. So my main job is marketing, sales,
You
to
find out with this login.
help you with the latest tools and resources, help you with your business plan. Everyone have different goals and different ways of doing business. So my job is to listen to you and to see how I can provide added value and help you grow your business. Okay, so today we're going to talk about common types of liens and judgments. Now, I'm a sales rep, so I'm not an escrow officer. I do have some knowledge, but I don't deal with the transaction day in and day out. But I do have a great team supporting me. So if there's any questions that you have, if I can't find the answer, I'll find you the answer. All right? Now, let's talk about type of liens. So there are federal tax liens, state tax liens, EDD, which is unemployment liens, and county tax liens. All of the liens, mentioned liens, have duration of 10 years from the date recorded unless they are released. The lien can be continued for the successive periods, and its original priority is maintained by recording and refiling notice before the original lien expires. What I'm saying here is, say if the liens is the duration of 10 years. So if the creditor wants to refile, they have to file a year prior to the expiration date, and then it will go on for another 10 years, okay? What happened when it's over 10 years? We call it out by time. Again, it's the same thing. They have to file, to refile, to continue with another 10 years. Like judgments, these liens are blanket liens and attach themselves to all property belongings to the delinquent taxpayers. So, for instance, if someone has, so the judgment is, it follow the owners, not necessarily the property. Now, sometimes we have cases where, you know, we have a preliminary title report, we pull it up, it's not showing the judgment. Then because it followed the client. So if there's nothing showing on the preliminary title report, it's so important if you have a purchase transaction. When we open the escrow and the seller, you are as a listing agent, provide the seller's information, email address and phone number to us, to the escrow officer. Then the escrow officer immediately will send out, because we have the email, we send out from our safe portal, it's called Star Safe, and that portal will ask for information of the seller, i.e. statement of information, SI. So when that happens, the seller needs to complete all that. Once we receive it back in our secure system, then we will send it to our SI department to run the report. So that way, if there's anything not showing on the preliminary title report, but we find it in the name of the seller, then we can inform you. Otherwise, if we don't know about it, and sometimes towards the end of the transaction, we run the report for whatever reason, and then we have to scramble, try to get the information, and it may delay the transaction. So FYI. Second thing is when you see on the preliminary title report, there's a verbiage, you say SI required. So when our title department runs the prelim report, for whatever reason, if they find the need to include that, not all prelim will ask for that, but if it has that in there, please provide that information to the escrow officer as soon as possible, okay? Escrow orders the demand. So basically, if there's a lien, a tax lien, or county tax lien, federal tax lien, the escrow officer will order the demand. And again, we cannot order the demand without the owner's information, social security number, birthday, things like that. Then we will pay, close escrow, and record the release. That's our duty. Escrow must have an IRS power of attorney form to obtain the demand. That form is called 8821, and we will provide that if there's an IRS tax lien showing on the prelim, okay? Title will not close without a demand from a federal or tax lien, all right? Next one is types of liens that attach to the specific property. These type of liens follow the owners wherever they go, whatever that property if they own, if it's unpaid, it will follow the owner. So we have mechanics liens, list of pendants, homeowners associations liens, and substandard abatements liens. So what is mechanics lien? Say for, you hire a contractor to remodel your home, or a subcontractor, and they did the work, you didn't like the work, you decided not to pay them. Well, they can turn around and go put a lien, a mechanics lien against your property, right? Against you. And so you need to, of course, before they do that, they will send you a notification, inform you that they will file a mechanics lien against your property. Then you need to act on it. Okay. The duration of the mechanics lien is 90 days from the date recorded. They can sometimes foreclose on the property that they recorded the mechanics lien on. However, that must commence the action within 90 days. Now, unpaid mechanics liens can stay on the credit reports for up to 10 years. So anytime you pay, we recommend that you pay by check. So because you have evidence on both sides that endorsed and paid out, right? There's proof. That's a recommendation. Now, also the contractor has to be licensed in order to file a mechanics lien against the property. All right. So the next one is.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
So let's say seller is having termite work done on the property now. Buyer makes an offer. Now, of course, every termite inspection contains the warning sign, the warning thing that says if the termite contractor is not paid, they're going to file a mechanics lien. But they're doing the work during escrow. Now, if it closes and the seller doesn't pay the contractor, then the contractor can file a mechanics lien on the buyer, right? Because the buyer now owns the property.
No, it's on the seller who hired the contractor.
All right. Well, we'll talk about this outside then, but I don't believe that's the. We'll talk later then. Right. But I don't believe that's true because the mechanics lien accrues to the property on the work being done, and just because title is transferred. I've actually had a case where I had a seller doing work and title found out about it. that there were workers all over the place. I'm not 100% sure how, and they kind of freaked out because they were going to issue title insurance, and the mechanic's lien is effective the day the work began, and I don't think it matters that ownership changed in the interim, because they still could file the lien on the property. So anyhow, we could that could be another class for a escrow officer maybe, but I'm just saying I've got that happening right now on a property.
Okay,
Well,
that's a good question. I'm going to go ahead and I jotted down, so I'm going to ask the escrow officer on that one to get you the answer.
all right. Well,
All right.
cool. I'll be quiet.
Okay, sounds good. A list pendant is a notice that the court action affecting the property has been filed. The document is also used to foreclose on a property unless under a mechanic's lien. This item has an unlimited duration and must be released or withdrawn. So, for instance, if you have a listing or we put a preliminary title report and it shows there's a list pending, you cannot move forward with a transaction. All right? It cannot be resolved or it cannot be sold unless this thing is resolved, because it is a pending lawsuit in a sense. It requires court action that affects the title. So title company will not proceed with the transaction with the escrow unless it's resolved. So let me give you an example on what's list pending. Say buyer A and the seller entered to contract of a sale of a home, right? The seller decided to sell to buyer B. The buyer A now filed a list pendant, making it difficult for the seller to actually sell the property. That's one of the examples. The next one is homeowners' liens are recorded when a person is delinquent on their association dues. No fixed duration. Escrow must get the demand. So in other words, it needs to be paid.
Something anybody can.
Substandard liens are recorded by the city or the county. They can be, for instance, abatement hazardous, like abandoned cars, substances that, oil left piled up on the property, complaints from the neighbors. Again, these type of liens do not have a fixed duration, and we need to pay. Sometimes you'll find, like, say someone has their broken cars piled up in front of, on the front yard, and the city went out, cleaned it up. They will send you the invoice to pay for, and if you refuse to pay, then it will be attached to your property. That's what is called a substandard lien. All right, so last but not least, the types of judgments, right? There's money judgment, spousal, and child support judgment. So what is a money judgment? So it has a duration of 10 years from the day of judgment is filed. Money judgment, we consider like unpaid medical bills, unpaid rent. Those are considered money judgment, okay? Child support judgment duration will extend over 10 years. Spousal support judgments will be considered until release. Child support liens will be considered up to 5 years after the child reaches the age of maturity. Not majority, but maturity. There's a spelling there. And so we have cases where, of course, up to 18 years of age, but sometimes depending upon the court order. If there's a court order involved, there's an attorney involved, it can go beyond the age of 18. We have a case like that. So just FYI. A money judgment can be extended for 10 years when a renewal of a judgment is recorded within 10 years of the original date of the entry of the judgment. The only judgment that has a duration of 20 years is one is in favor of the United States of America. So if the creditor is our United States, then the duration is longer, and basically it's there until it's paid off. By the way, sometimes we have tax liens, and people ask, well, why are we fighting for it? Can you just hold that amount in escrow? We close escrow, and then when that's resolved, you can release the money. The answer is no. Title company, escrow company cannot hold money, especially large sum of money, for tax purposes. So we will not do it. And then let's see, the only judgment that, escrow orders demands, just like any liens we order, we help you to order the demand, and full or partial satisfaction. Sometimes creditors will say, we order the demand, and they say, if you pay this amount, say you owe $10,000, and then they say, if you pay this amount, and then we will release it. Just make sure that you ask for the release after you pay either full or partial to the creditor. So our job is to get the demand, to see how much, and then we'll pay it at close of escrow. All right, so now I'm open to questions. Anybody have any questions? No?
Don't everybody blurt it out at once.
Okay, well, if not, then any questions you have in mind relate to title and escrow or your business. And if you're not comfortable of asking questions here, you have my contact information. Michael just put that, graciously put it in the chat. So feel free to take that down the information and reach out to me. And we can do a one-on-one session or chat about it. And then, yeah, feel free. Do you have anything to add, Michael?
Always, but I'm letting my better judgment be quiet for a while. What? So well, can one comment though about did you cover that child support liens don't have an expiration date?
Well, usually it's paid. It has to be paid until the child is 18 years of age. However, I had mentioned earlier, if there's an attorney involved, we have a case that the child is no longer a child, it's an adult, 25 years of age, and we still have to pay because that's a court order.
Right. What I was referring to, remember the fund transaction we had in Willow Glen, where the seller who I represented had a child support lien filed in the 1970s, a judgment, right? Mm-hmm. And so everybody, that was 1970 something, and so everybody figured, well, it must have been resolved by now, and it hadn't been, and that lien never expires, and so in order to sell the property, we need the judgment release, which means the ex-wife needs to be happy. She was not happy, just to start with, and all that, it had to be bought off in order to close escrow. So and it doesn't matter how old that lien is, it's still there until it's been released.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't assume, right? In terms of, especially child support. So I used, when I was in lending, I have an underwriter. That's her hot button. So if there's, even though the file is, have great credit scores now and so on and so forth, but if there's like child support liens, she's not happy about it. So she make it more difficult. So sometimes, that's something that people are not, they think that they can just through years, through time, that will just go away, but it doesn't. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And I don't know if you see the question about the mechanics lien. Mechanics liens are in the California State Constitution. It can only be done for a work of improvement. And Lynn is correct. You need to have a contractor's license if what you're doing requires a contractor's license. But PG&E, if you don't pay them, can file a mechanics lien. Whoever delivered the lumber, if they're not paid, can file a mechanics lien. There are a lot of people that can file mechanics liens that don't have contractor's licenses because it says in the Constitution, anybody providing work or materials for a work of improvement can file the mechanics lien, but it has to be a part of the work of improvement on that property. I just thought I would share that. And just one judgment lien, quick example. I had a client in Redwood City, wanted to sell land. I list it. We get a preliminary title report. It's clean. Right? It looks, doesn't look very different. After a few weeks, the title company called me and said, "Did you know your client has a judgment against him?" And I said, "No." Right? And 5 years before, he had been sued in San Diego by a business partner and lost. And the business partner recorded the judgment in every county in the state, which is what they typically do because they didn't know where he owned stuff. And so he asked me, what does it mean that there's a judgment lien? What does that mean? And I said, it means that when we sell your land, you're going to have to pay off the judgment, which he didn't. I won't use his exact language, but he was disinterested in doing that. So what he decided to do was just not sell and waited out the 10 years. So just because there's a judgment against somebody, that doesn't mean that they have money. It simply means that they've liened the property, and if the property is sold, they're going to have to pay off that lien. Right. Back to you.
Michael, can you see the Go Mobile with Chicago Title?
Yeah.
Okay. I decided to put this up here, and then we can go over it a little bit. But since we have time.
All right. Are we all right?
Anybody have any more questions regarding judgments and liens before we move forward?
And not sure if this is too specific of a question, but just let me know if that's the case. I have a seller who owns a condo. She wants to sell it, but there was a special assessment on the property, and I think anyway, she's probably also in forbearance or something and hasn't been paying her HOA dues with the special assessment. So if she goes to sell, and the hard thing is there's not a lot of equity in the property, and she doesn't have enough money from the sale to pay that HOA demand, what happens in that case?
So in that case, we can't close escrow. It has to be paid.
Okay, so then the sale can't go through.
Correct.
Okay, that's helpful.
In many cases, right, there's proceeds from the net proceeds to pay off that lien. But in this case, if there isn't, we can't close escrow because title company will not insure it.
You might want to see if you can get a short sale, find out who the loan's through.
I know. I'm just trying to avoid that route, but yes, that seems like the only option, unfortunately.
So there was a question that do judgment liens go away after 10 years? The duration of the lien is 10 years, but sometimes the creditor can refile a year prior to the expiration date, and it will go on to another 10 years.
Yeah. And that is not really, typically not an easy thing to accomplish. But.
Looks like we have another question. Let's see. Okay. You are very welcome. All right. So I can move on to this since we have time. For those of you, if you are not registered with Chicago Title, let me know, reach out to me. You have my contact information, and I'm happy to register you to have access to these wonderful, amazing mobile apps. So the first one we call Chicago Agent One app. So that one is basically a real estate closing cost app that you can get buyers estimate anywhere in the United States within a few seconds. Seller's net sheet, I would say within 15 seconds. So that provide principal, interest, tax, and insurance payments, local tax rate, who pays what in that county, any credits. So all that can be done is so useful that when you have, for instance, open house and you're sitting there and you have buyers walk in, and if they're not working with anyone at the moment, any realtors, you can certainly help them and capture that lead. Why? Because once you provide the estimated fees, you can ask for the phone number because they want the information. Then you can email or text the estimate to the buyer. And that's an opportunity to capture that lead. Okay? It also provides seller's estimates. So if you're doing a listing presentation, you can sit there and the seller will say, all right, so if you sold my property for $1 million and I owe $300,000, how much will I net? What if it's sold for $1.1 million? How much will I net? So all that can be done within seconds. You look so smart, so tech savvy in front of your seller, and hopefully you get that listing. So that's what the app is about. But now it has so much more. It has infographics, it has lenses, and then videos that's all created for you and it's branding you. Now that's the upgraded version, and that's only $10 a year, not a month, a year. So it's less than $1 a month, but it provides probably right now, and they continue to add more material to the app. We probably have over 30 infographics templates for you to use. Also lenses like just sold, and it's social media friendly. You can instantly post it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So all that is so great for you to have. It's a great tool as a realtor. And also loan officers too, by the way, if you have any loan officers on the attending today. The next one is called Title Now. Once I register you to have access to Chicago Title Premier Services, you also can download this app on your phone. It's called Title Now, and you can be anywhere and be able to pull the property profiles anytime, anywhere, right? So if you vacationing in Hawaii and someone calling is, ask questions about their property, you can certainly go in here and just pull it up. You can email or text to the client as well. You can print it, save it as a PDF. So it has legal description, it has property tax information, it has comparables. Now, comparables is nothing like MLS when you go on, you do a CMA. This is basically show what have sold surrounding the subject property in the last year or so, okay? And it has plat maps, and also you can have access to public recorded documents like grandees. Now, in the old days, you have to go down to the county to get a copy of the grandee. Now it's all here because we paid for it for the application. So then you can have it will have a hyperlink on the property profile, and all you have to do is just click on it, and grandee or quick claim deed or spousal grandee, anything like that, it will, any recorded documents, you will have access to the actual document itself. Okay. And then the last one is called Walking Farm. So right now it may not be beneficial to use this app, but pre-pandemic, a lot of our agents use this app. So what it does is that you can identify a farm, right? And you decide to door knocking, and it will map it out for you. And before you knock on the door, you know who's the owner's name, you know who you're talking to, whether it's owner-occupied or non-owner. So you have all that information. It's also connected to one of our great platforms. It's called Active Farm. So then you'll be able to see the turnover rate in that neighborhood, the percentage of people that investors or empty nesters, or also a list of likely movers, likely to sell. So all that information is connected to this walking farm itself. So that's what I'm here for. Just call me and or email me. We can set up a meeting and we can go over these tools and resources for you. Okay?
I've been able to log into, I think, Title now, but you've done a good job of explaining it, and it might be easier for people that are interested, but I think I could show people what it looks like.
On which application?
Title
The Chicago
now,
Agent one?
the Now one.
Now is fine, yeah. Before we move forward, Angelica has a question. What happens when there is a judgment and does not belong to the client? Great question. That's why when I said you are the seller, you have a listing, you open it with us, and you provide us with the seller's email address and phone number, our escrow officer will send out via StarSafe portal. And in that, the client will be able to fill out their information securely. And when we get that information, we'll run it. So say if it doesn't belong because it's common names and whatnot, and it doesn't belong to your seller, we just ask you to sign an affidavit, and then we move on. We'll close the escrow. Does that help, Angelica?
She's shy.
All right. All right, cool. All right, so what should I do, Michael?
Well, if there aren't any questions, I could actually probably show my phone if you wanted to do that. It's up here. All right.
Absolutely.
Let me see. I would need the screen. And I don't know why it does this. Oh, I see. Ah, there we go. So, is this the right? Can everybody see it? I don't think I can make it. Can everybody?
I don't see it.
Oh, that's because I'm not sharing my screen. Guys, I was just seeing if you're paying attention. All right. So, how about that?
Awesome.
Does that look like the right one?
Yes. So, all right, guys. So this is Title Now app, and you cannot access it, even though you download it on your phone, unless I register you to have access to it. So just send me an email or give me a call or text me. I need your full name, your email address, your company name, and your cell number in order for me to register you.
And do they have to drop off a red envelope at the office or anything?
Well, red envelopes are always welcome, but I want to keep my job, so I'm not accepting any red envelopes.
I'll be her intermediary for that, for any of you that want to, because I don't need to worry about that. All right, so what would you like to show people? Did you want to?
So this is really easy to be able to pull a property profile. Can you click on search by address?
Sure. if I don't.
So you have many choices. You can search by APN number. You can search by a property address. You can search by name. If the person has multiple properties, search by name may be a good idea because it will pull up all the properties that person owns. Do you want to enter an address?
Well, I clicked and it won't. It's not letting me go back right now. So I'm stuck with APN zip code. I don't know why it won't let me go back, but it's not letting me go back to the starting.
There's no back button?
There is, but clicking on it doesn't. And sometimes it's because of this viewing thing. It's, I don't know.
Hang on, I'm looking at my phone here.
How we can do a zip code? I'm not sure what kind of a search it's doing.
No.
Here, how about search by address? Okay, I found it.
Oh, perfect.
You got one?
All right. Enter an address.
Which address? Anybody have one? I'm going to look up something, but.
1969 Assunta Way.
What is it?
1969.
Assunta, Assunta Way.
Assunta Way.
San Jose.
So you can enter city or zip code, and that will work.
Okay. It's 95124.
Does that look like it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So then you just click on the arrow point to the right. Now you have choices, right? If you want to see the full profile, you can click the top tab. But if you only want to see the property profile, or you only want to see transfer history, or just the comparables, or area sales analysis, then you can do that. So let's click on View Full Profile. Michael?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, it's tiny. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's to the right, it says provided by Linh Dang. Because I register you, right? You have access to it. But on the system itself, it's also will be branding you. It will have your, once I register you, it will be you. It will be your name. Okay, so you know who the rightful owner is or are. And it has the mailing address and the site address, as you know. If it's a rental, you will see the difference between the mail and the site address, right? And then APN number and legal description. Just so you know, we insure you based on the legal description, not so much the property address, because that property address can be changed by the owner. And then you scroll down to property details. You will see the year built, information that square footage, bedroom count, lot size, use code is good information to know. Is that a condo? Is that a single family resident? Is that a commercial? Is that a duplex, triplex, and so on. Now, Santa Clara County has great information. Now, it may not be the same in other counties, just so you know. So I have people that ask me, like, Fresno or Stockton, and some property profile doesn't have bedroom count or lack of other information. There's nothing I can do about it because whatever the county provides, that's what we have. Okay? So it varies from county, but we are very fortunate that Santa Clara County, in general, have pretty good data here. And then the next one, it shows transfer date, last transfer date. So it looks like it was purchased in 2004, and then, or maybe, when it was, transfer value was $685. And the title company. Also, if you move to the right, Michael, a little bit where it says document, That's your hyperlink. That's your recorded doc number. So if you want to access it, you can click on it, and it will open up to a copy of the grantee. There you go. Now, what we provide you is not unlimited, right? So you can't just click on this whenever you feel like it, because we pay for the document. So for recorded deeds, you have up to 5 a month. However, nothing is set in stone. Same thing with property profiles. You have up to 15. But I tell you, probably over 90% of my clients don't even use 15 a month. Same thing with recorded docs. I do have, small percentage of clients that want to, when they do maybe, auction, or they want to bid on a foreclosed home or whatnot, so they want to do their own research, then they can go in here and do that. If you ran out for whatever reason, just text me or send me an email and say, I need more. Then I can reset it for you. All right? And of course, if you're a great client, so we can always request to have it increase your limit permanently. So that can be done. And then you scroll down to property history. So there's more. It will show as far as, first owner. It could go back 20 years, 30 years. So all that is in there. And then you scroll down more. Then you'll see comparables and then plat map. Now, you can certainly send it to your client from here as well. So if you, after Michael finished scrolling all the way down, you see everything, then we can certainly do that on top. You can share. There's a share icon up there on top somewhere.
Like that one?
Yeah, you can copy, you can share. I think it's next to the ...
Yeah, I clicked on it. You can see when I click on it, there it pops up. I can copy it, I can share it, I can text it, I can email it.
Right. Janine asked, how quickly does this app update after a recording? How current is it? Is there a delay? So the answer, yes, there is a delay. If we give information, our probably planned information received from the county is about 2 weeks delay. Again, depending on how soon the county update their information too. And it seems it's a little bit slower because, we are in the pandemic and they're short of staff, so. So that's pretty easy, right? And you have the app at your fingertips, so you can do business pretty much anywhere.
Did you want to, since I have access to the other, I don't think I have Walking Farm, but the other ones I have too.
Yeah, you can download it. Yeah. Again, that's connected to this. So once you are registered, then you can download both apps and have access to those.
What's the take the photo part? Is that like?
Yeah. So if you're standing in front of the property, say it's for sale by owner, right? And you can take a photo of the house, and then we'll pull up a property profile for you, rather than type in the address using Google Maps.
Do you have to take a photo of the address of the property, or just the photo of the house, and Google can figure out?
I think the number has to show. Yeah.
I think so too. All right.
We have Blossom. Oh, she's from Hawaii? Aloha. Any other questions? Oh, let's go to Chicago Agent 1. Mike?
I was already.
You're a step ahead of me.
It's a rarity. I'm usually a couple steps behind.
Hey, we are great partners.
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, I'll look into that. But anyway, hey guys, this is a great app. If you don't have it, you must have it. If you want to make your job so much easier and more efficient to do real estate business. So, right here under Chicago Agent 1, you have Michael has Santa Clara County. But if you click on the drop down, you can change it to any county in the United States, right? So that must be done prior to. If you have clients that are looking for a home in Alameda County, make sure you change that first so the app will pull in the correct information for you. It's recommended to put in an address.
I don't see where I can change the county.
Yes, I'll show you. Go back.
Yeah. Now it's going slow. All right.
You changing the terms or county? Michael?
Yeah, I don't see it. I'm sorry. Under
Right
options?
underneath Chicago Agent 1, there's an arrow pointing down.
All right, there we go.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can change it to any county. So if you're working with buyers in other counties, it's good to do so that way it will pull in the correct information for you. All right, we can go back. Like I said, it's recommended to enter a property address because it will pull in like property tax information, loan balance, and so on. But for now, if you wanted to get an estimate, it's really easy. Just complete all of these fields to the best of your knowledge, and then just click on compute. You want to do a scenario, Mike?
Sure.
Or
A cheap house, conventional loan,
yeah.
high interest rate. Now, the thing about the address, of course, is there's always the question, is there a city transfer tax? And those of you that were, yesterday I was talking about ChicagoTitleTransferTax.com, which answers that question, but you'll also know that here it gives you, for Santa Clara County, the cities that have a transfer tax. And by the way, as a tip, if you're writing an offer, like if I'm a listing agent and you write an offer and it is asking that we split the city transfer tax and my listing is in, let's just say, Milpitas, then I'm going to think that you're not paying attention because there is no city transfer tax in that city. So it just makes it look like you've been, paying attention if you accurately fill out, this is paragraph 7D, I believe it is in the purchase agreement, who pays for what. And so this will already tell you what the city transfer tax is, and whether or not it's split is something you kind of have to know. Usually it is, but ChicagoTitleTransferTax.com would tell you normally in that area, in that city, who pays for the transfer, the city transfer tax. Just saying.
So under miscellaneous, for instance, if you're giving credit or you pay for inspections report and whatnot, you can put that in there as well. If there's an HOA, you can actually, you can enter there. And then closing day, you just click on the will at the end of the field, and then just select whatever day or an estimated day. Usually people estimate, 30 to 45 days of escrow. And then you just click compute. Click done. There you go, right? If you do it, if you know it, you just enter the, input all the information, you get it within a few seconds. So that's your monthly payment with 10% down, and how much you need to bring to close. If you see closing costs, just click on that, and then it will give you itemized of closing costs. Right over, yes, there you go, perfect. And if you want to edit it, you can click on edit, and then you can subtract, add anything you want. Okay.
Right.
Once you're done, just click on done. Go back, and then click back.
I've done that. It's slow. There we go.
Now on the upper right-hand corner, there's a share icon. Then you have the option to, you can text a snapshot of what right there showing on the screen, or you can send a full report. The geo report is so awesome if you have the premium version. Do you, Mike?
I don't know.
Click on it and see. You know what? We don't have an O. That is so awesome. If you have an address, it's even better. But watch the geo report here. This is so cool, right? If you can do this and take it with you to the listing presentation, or if you have an open house and you have this printed to share for buyers that walk in. So it talks about, it tells you all the schools nearby, elementary, middle school, and high school, and then the internet speed and the restaurants. Why not? Right? It's beautifully put together. So this is great to have. So this is part of the premium version for $10 a year. And this is just tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that you get for paying less than $1 a month.
It's good. I assumed I had everything because I've used this before.
All right, so you can go back.
All of that.
And that's pretty much the same for seller's net sheet. Same thing. You just enter information. You enter the loan balance, and it will tell you what the net sheet is. So let's use that same address again, that Sharia, if I.
Sure.
Don't shoot me if I pronounce your name wrong. I'm so sorry.
No, you did well. Sharia.
Yeah.
Sharia.
Could you say it again? I'm old and my short-term memory isn't that great.
19,
19.
you want the address? 1969? Asunta?
Here, you found it. All right.
Okay,
Okay, so just click next. It tells you the estimated property tax. So click next. Oh no, just click next.
How about skip, you mean?
You can skip it. Yeah, I didn't see the bottom.
Yeah, that's all right.
So as you see, it plugged in last year's property tax information. So then you can put the purchase price, you can put the commission. Noted that where it says broker fee, if you put 5% or 6%, the app will split it equally between the seller, the listing agent, and the buyer's agent. But if you want to customize it, just click on the wheel at the end, and then you can enter it. Like sometimes you have, the listing agent at 2%, the buyer's agent 3%, whatnot. So this is where you would do it.
Yeah, I always do 4% to the listing agent, 2% to the buyer's agent.
Sounds like a good deal to me. And good luck selling the property, Mike.
Yeah. Depends on the market. All right.
Okay, so that's an option. And then again, repairs, miscellaneous. Let's say if you pay for staging, you can put it here because then the escrow officer would know, or let the escrow officer know, at least that the seller, for an estimate purposes, the seller will know that that will be deducted out of their proceed. Okay. And then loan balance. Sometimes it will pull in the loan balance information. It's only an estimate because, again, we're getting the information from the county. And core logic, it doesn't mean that is, until we request a payoff demand, we don't know the exact amount. But if you don't have it in this case, you can certainly ask the seller, Mr. Seller, can you tell me how much you still owe on the property? And then ask them if they know the interest rate on it. If they don't, let's do this for fun, Mike.
All right.
So under in the interest rate field, put in the click on the wheel for me at the end. Okay. So you get this. Then you ask the seller, when did you purchase the property? So now it shows 2010, but say he purchased it in 2013. You can move that circle to the right. You notice how the interest rate changed. This is average interest rate, right? So say if that's the number you want, you just click use to the right. And it will plug that in there for you, right? Now you can enter the loan balance. Mike, just put, I don't know, whatever you want to put. All right. CD transfer tax, again, if it's in Milpitas, you don't need to, but if it's in one of these three.
It's at San Jose, so.
Then, yeah.
Oh, and we probably should have, when I click on that, I should put it on split. And, that's what, it already says split, so never mind.
Yes, it knows because of the county you selected.
Right, it knows that's what we normally do. Yeah. All right.
Right. Now click done, click compute. So if the property sold at $1 million, that's how much the seller will net after the close of escrow, right? You have the, so now this is, you can certainly share using the share icon, but before you do that, we know what it looks like. You look to the left, it has multiple offers, and then to the right, it has holding costs. Right? So say if you have multiple offers, so this is so cool. Say if the property's been on the market for 6 months, right? And the seller will not reduce the price. So this may be something you wanted to use to show the seller that the longer it sits on the market, the more money he or she will lose. So that's there for you.
And so multiple offers is so you could analyze.
You can see multiple net sheets, right? So this is, say, offer one. Skip the earnest money, skip the home warranty. I think that's it. And then you just click on add offer. All right. So right now you already have one. So click on add new offer. Put $1.1 million. Yeah. And then click done.
And we could put in home warranty. We could put in earnest money.
Yeah, you can. And then just add offer. So there's your next one. And you can do up to, I don't know, I think 4, 5, 6, whatnot. Maybe add one more and then click share to see what it looks like.
slow. I know how it feels. There you go.
So click on Send Full Report. There you go.
Awesome.
All right, and you can send email or text to the seller as well. Well, guys, we are over time right now.
And thank you very much, Lynn. And as I mentioned in yesterday's session, I think you ought to, as an agent, know how to do a buyer's estimated closing costs and a seller's estimated net sheet, and to be able to use the app like at an appointment or standing outside of a house or sitting in a listing appointment when they say, because sometimes I don't know how much the seller owes until I get there. I mean, we can guess, but sometimes when you get there, the seller says, oh, and there's this too I got to pay, and there's that too, and that all can't necessarily be done in advance. And if you know how to do this, you could do it right then and there. It takes a couple of minutes. You can, sometimes I've done a screenshot and just texted the screenshot to them so that they had, because rather than emailing them, because we're sitting right there, that sort of thing. That's all I'd have to add.
Yeah, so when you share, you have that option on the phone. You can email and it says share snapshot, and it will take that and send it over too. So you don't have to do a screenshot. You can just share and click on snapshot.
Sounds good. All right, any other burning questions, you guys? There's some chat that looks okay. All right, well, there's Lynn again. We can say we're signing off.
Well, thank you so very much, everyone, for your time, and I'm looking forward to your calls. So hopefully my phone will ring it off the hook.
Particularly,
All right, guys, have a great day.
Particularly if you have somebody who wants to sell a property, and this is your first one or second or third, call Lynn. She'd be happy to help you make sure everything is done right. All right, thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Next week, it'll be something different. Talk to you later.
All right, bye now.
Bye.